Hey guys, welcome back. It's Elucid and it's turn 34. I'm going to do my damnedest to make you appreciate the good old days when I had co-casters on this. But it's the Christmas holidays. It's before New Year's when I'm recording this. And I'm trying to get us caught up a little bit, have a bit more content here. So we have a message here from Joman. Joman here. Situation isn't ideal, but could be worse. A lot worse. Diplomacy-wise, at war with Bogarus, Arco, and Abyssia, just narrowly avoiding war with Ulm by ceding land to them for 2 turns of its gym income. Bogarus front unchanged. Arco front, Agartha has entered the war on my behalf, but has cut my intended line of advance, consolidating forces, taking my fort back, and awaiting research. Abyssia front, ryujin continue their harassment, preventing almost 400 gold from entering the coffers of the enemy, but otherwise their role has been limited so far. Okay, I don't think this is really the main value, right? The main value is keeping armies at home. I think this is like, I mean, yes, this is something, but, and I don't think, like, I'm not like the 400, like, you are doing 400 gold of damage, but you're also risking losing the Ryujin, especially in like a more competent player game. Like, those Ryujin are getting, like, if you were doing this against me, and there was a time when I got a little bit abused by Ryujin once, because I didn't really understand, like, Physmos and some things like that and how to deal with it, but I do now. So, anyway, if you were doing that against me, I would be killing these at a rate which it would not make deep raiding worth it. What I'm trying to say here is the value of the deep raiding is primarily keeping armies at home. Denying gold from your enemy is a bit of a trap. If you're getting it for yourself, great, right? But the denying it from your enemy, you know, don't try not to justify this. Like, if you do it for the other reasons, if you're going to do it. In general, I think deep raiding is a sucker's game, right? You should do it raiding to, like, take control of an enemy land, great. Deep raiding where you're not tracing income, not great. Okay. We avoided their armies because any losses will greatly reduce the ability for me to defend my capital. For now, we must endure the Abyssians. All of my enemies, including Ulm, are now utilizing flaming arrows, and as a nation without shields, I cannot take this threat lightly. I'm rushing Enchantment 6 for Arrowfend so that my armies can stop relying on mist to defend themselves. Okay. A message from Satis. Late Age really has no gems, huh? That is the goddamn truth. And with that, we will go to Satis, who is apparently gem poor as hell. Hey, you got a Magus Temple? A Sages Guild? Hoburg Settlement? Doesn't really... Okay. I mean, you did okay. I wouldn't say you had kind of normal luck, I would say, for Late Age. So there's an assassin layer to this game we've been talking about that... Okay, so the fact that he pings this with the commander means he probably was doing some assassinating. We can go back and look and see how many commanders there were here the previous turn, but... So Satis rides out here with some Tomb Chariots, takes this back. Phalegra comes over here. Satis has a High Priest that gets killed off. I don't see a ton of evidence of the assassin game doing wonders at the moment. Oh, we do see... Okay, Kalem comes and takes this province back. This is a very juicy province. Anyway, this is the Satis Phalegra conflict. We're going to come bit down here and look at Kalem and the monkeys next. So Kalem takes this back. Potentially is eyeing this province, which... Got to be careful what you put on here. This actually is a great target for corpse constructs to siege down because it's got a Well of Pestilence. You don't really want to have birds sit on here for very long. And if you do, you probably just want to bring it up to crack it, and then you don't storm with the whole bird army because that's one more turn on top of the Well of Pestilence. You can send them off and maybe storm with a smaller force. The cap, not cracked yet, but he's moving. This army, when it gets on top, will probably crack it. Oh my god, what the fuck? 5 Nagini and a Congo train. all a little bit naked. What in the fuck is happening? Blessing. Rust Mist Slow. What the fuck? Sleep Cloud Slow. What is going on, game? Okay, you put them to sleep. Yes. Oh, Patala. Yes. It's like a D&D stack or something where they're like all disablers, but they don't have anybody to do damage. Yes. Patala. You're making my dreams come true. Sleep Cloud, Earth Melt, Earth Grip. Sleep Cloud, Vine Arrow. Oh, a Cold Blast. Okay, we have damage done. Oh, but they're in melee, and these mages are naked and fatigued out. Okay, we have one run. We have another one run, but will the remaining 3 run? Okay, we have a melee kill. Oh, God. I mean, honestly, this would have worked. I mean, it's not a great idea, right? But if you had one of these mages, didn't even need a weapon, but one of the mages just buffed like they were a thug, right? Like Iron Skin, Body Ethereal, Moss Body, Temper Flesh, that bullshit. And then just ran into melee and started punching shit. While everybody was... Now, he wouldn't be able to face tank them. Right? Like everybody. But he would, like... Oh, he switched forms. Maybe you put him in the second form for that. But while they're all disabled from this other bullshit, he would be able to kill them. Oh, she died retreating. Oh, she died too. How did they die? A javelin? Did they have poison damage or something on them? I don't really know how they died retreating. Oh, maybe they were... I think they had Undying. Maybe. Let's take a look. I can't... Sorry. They have Undying? Okay, yeah, I think they died from Undying when they retreated. So lost 3, actually. Congo Train of Love fails to take out 6 PD. Feels a little bad, man. Nevertheless, I want you to know I thoroughly appreciate your sacrifice. Oh my god, that is a lot of PD. I think that's 50. That's 50 PD. Holy shit. Not even supporting it with mages. Versus the birds, that's very dangerous, right? Because you can... The birds are one of the factions where, like, PD dumps can be very good against the birds because the birds want to have, like, a numbers advantage. But the birds are also really good at sniping your commanders. So you can have, like, 100 PD and you kill the 2 commanders and it's over. But you can have the 100 PD or 50 PD with, like, a small army where the commander's guarded that you're actually patrolling with that's not part of the PD. And now all of a sudden you can't route the PD by killing the commander. So it's a kind of cool little thing. But yeah, this is very dangerous against the birds who will be like, yoink, yoink, and then the whole thing runs. And again, we see Patala with big PD dumps, flexing nuts. First it's the Congo train, next it's the PD dumps. The Markata run, but the Atavi are holding strong. The Vedi actually held up really well. Okay. So they've eliminated these mercs. But can they defend their capital? I think if you're Patala, if you're planning to win, you take everything you got and you whip it out and you do it in the... No, you move to this province and then you get ready to go in the capital. Okay, moving up. Bogarus storms Patala's fort. Is there anything inside? And do we have more... Oh, yes. We see some point buffing. That's exactly what I want to see. Please tell me they're on guard commander. God damn it, Bogaroos. Why do we have to get a new Bogaroos player, you know? What I really wanted to see was these Malia Druzina on guard commander while the archers shot at the wall and didn't do shit. And then they mind burned their way to victory. I'm just kidding. Many thanks to the Bogaroos player for subbing. And this was a much more reasonable script, but I kind of just want entertainment, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, here we have 15 Malia Druzina. I feel like General Confusion always says these things right. I will admit, there are a couple times when I have looked at his videos prior to doing a national overview for the primary reason of just looking how he says things so that I cannot be quite as big of an idiot. But no, actually, when I did the national overview for Bogaroos, I watched his video, and I was looking how he said things, and then I started like doing Russian translations. I think for Druzhina, I think it's Malia Druzhina. Malia Druzhina. Though I might be saying the first part right. I think the second part's Druzhina. I think the first part... Dear God. I don't know how to say the first part, but anyway, suffice it to say, as most of you know, since you watch my channel, we don't always pronounce things right here. We're just, yeah, a little ashamed. Now, so this is interesting. So he's poked now Joman. He said, okay, like we've had a ceasefire because you're busy dealing with Arco, but I'm not poking you. Like, I want you to know, like, we're not good yet. We're not on good terms yet. And I've dealt mostly with the monkeys. The problem is that if you poke him, it may be that while Joman has his hands full with Abyssia and Arco, he's like, okay, we have a ceasefire with Bogaroos. But now that ceasefire's been broken, so it's very likely he gets attacked again. The problem is, like, okay, sure, Bogaroos can probably make a very good defense of these lands. Arguably, he could kill everything that's going to come in here from Joman. The problem is the opportunity cost of doing that is he's not going to get all this free shit from Patala. If I were Bogaroos, I would be looking to peace out. Because piecing out with Joman, while on one hand it would abandon Arco, it's going to buy you the ability to feed off of easier neighbors like the monkeys and Satis. And that's really what you want to be doing. And this is just the prime time to do that, right? Because Joman's in a 3v1. And this is by far and away the hardest target you could have for a war. So, I don't know. It's possible he's done it, didn't tell us, but this was part of the negotiation. Speaking of Joman, the army which was threatening Arco's capital was here last turn, and it has moved back to this fort. He's very worried about flaming arrows and maybe some other things, so we're going to see what's happening. But we have the armies of Agartha steadily advancing. Taking very few casualties, in this case fighting a lot of PD. We'll watch this. Okay. Arco attacks... Oh, no. Agartha attacks here, and this is a PD dump that he is known to exist, because he's lost armies to this PD dump. Okay, but seriously? This PD dump is going to win? You gotta be fucking kidding. He must instantly rout the Bakemono, who do not have great morale. They've already killed most of the heavy cav. Oh, but they're split up, though. So these Bakemono are certainly going to die, while the heavy cav's getting finished off, right? Okay, they've routed. Bakemono do not have great morale, guys. That's one of their problems. And I think they're going to HP rout the army. Yep. Well, not the army, just that squad. Wow. He brought... Look, he had two... Okay, this is some of the problem. People love Bakemono, and given they could be used a bit better than this, but they weren't used horribly, horribly here, okay? Like, they weren't buffed with things, but they did run in approximately with, like, the other troops here, right? This just... The Bakemono were of negative value. I think if they weren't here, or at least if half of their value were converted into a Garthan light infantry, he probably would have won. I mean, I think they'd be better off without them. They HP routed the army. But I could be wrong. Anyway, that is comically hilarious. But Garthan was a pretty ballsy move. They have moved off of this fort. They have so much shit in their capital. What are they doing with it? They need this army. Like, move these guys out. Take this fort, you know? No, Joman and Abyssia are not going to attack you. This is a completely secure flank. You do not need these guys here. Move them the fuck out. Get them on top of this fort. I mean, hopefully we just see a huge departure from Agartha and come down here. But we do know that Agartha likes keeping armies at home. Almost as much as he likes putting temples down without forts. What is his Dom strength? Some of you must have been asking this. And by God, right now we're going to answer it. Okay, they are number 1 in Dom strength. They have purchased this. They are not number 1 in provinces. But they're creeping up there. They're number 3. They are definitely number 1 in Dominion strength. Okay. Agartha making big plays, making moves. Ulm. No movement. Okay, hello. This is a significant movement on the border. There's still some Lemurian troops here, but a lot of them have shifted up. This tells me they're looking to go on Kalem. Or they're potentially looking to go on Abyssia, but they have a non-aggression pact with Abyssia, I believe. So my money is they're going on Kalem, which is a nation they don't really like fighting. But Kalem, while he is making a massive comeback, he's still a little bit betwixt and between. Like, he just doesn't have a ton of troops. And the kind of troops he's making are not good against ghosts. These Raven Guard are not good against ghosts. So we may see something develop here. I would not be surprised if this gets attacked. Yeah. I think we've about covered this turn, though. And since we haven't hit the 20-minute mark... Did we cover Joman deep raiding? We didn't cover the Joman Abyssia conflict, and that was probably a mistake, because... Okay, they're pinging this. He's seeing what's here. And it's a bunch of ryujin. A lot of mages are here. This guy's got some water gems. This guy's got some water gems. This guy's got some water gems. I don't know what this is for. I'm guessing there's this elemental summoning. The Colossus moves up here. So he was trying to kind of bait this army into attacking here. Moves the Colossus here instead. And then these guys have moved onto this throne. Maybe he's expecting these armies to leave the fort, but Joman's really not doing a lot in terms of moving troops. He's kind of just, I guess it's like his message. He's trying to weather this storm by staying still, which is a bit of a dangerous strategy. From the Ryujin side, they were all back here this previous turn on top of these forts. Now they're over here. These guys are getting patrolled out. So they've come down here. Here's one pair. Okay, and that's just a couple PD. And then they've come over this way. Now this is no longer deep raiding, because this they're tracing income from. But, you know... Wait, what is this? So, okay, he takes this back. Yeah. How good of a job is Abyssia doing? Like, this would probably kill it. So if this is happening to you guys, like a bunch of deep raiding, really what it takes is a couple turns where you just defend literally as many provinces as you can. Which, given the number of mages and troops he has, it's probably a decent number, right? Defending as many provinces as you can from these Ryujin. And then the deep rating will not pay off pretty quickly after that. After that, you can come back here and backfill and take some of these things. But I mean, these guys are expensive. You know, ryujin are almost $300, and then he's got, I think, 10 gems of gear on each of them. A little bit more. That's like 15 gems. Yeah, about 15 gems of gear. So, I mean, we could go through and like figure out what are ways to kill each of these. I don't think it's all that hard, actually. So we'll leave that exercise for the student. But it's not trivial, right? But it's not super hard. There's probably a lot of ways to kill them. They're not really getting point buffed to hell. They're really lightly buffed, and then they're jumping in. There's a lot of ways to do it. Okay, and I think that covers everything for this turn. And we just hit the 20-minute mark. I was going to do 2 episodes in one, but I think we'll leave it here. See you guys next time.